everyone. Welcome to World Builders Weekly. I am Jamie, Community Outreach for World Builders, and today I am joined by our incredible warehouse wizard, Mike.
Hi, I'm Mike.
Everybody say hello to Mike.
Yeah.
We are here to talk about GDG today. Geeks doing good. You'll probably hear us talk about it as GDG a lot because that's how we refer to it internally, but before we get to that exciting topic of conversation for the show today, we've got trivia. Oh,
Ah,
you'll have to forgive me. Today I am engineering as well as hosting, so I will be toggling back and forth to see the do all the things.
it's okay, Jamie. You're forgiven.
We'll get it. We have for trivia today. Eh, eh, eh,
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah.
Hey, there it is. So, last week's trivia question was one of the big sisterly personalities in Animal Crossing New Horizon has an outfit style of gorgeous and a favorite color of green. What is their catchphrase? I'm not an Animal Crossing player. Mike, are you an Animal Crossing player?
Not yet. It's huge and it's popular, and I
Yep.
want to get into it, but I haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, I know that if I played Animal Crossing, it would be consuming. So I have
True.
thus far avoided it. But the answer to this question is boing! The character catchphrase for the big sisterly personality is boing. So if you got that right, if you sent that into our DMs, you are entered to win the trivia prize or the trivia championship of the month. Today, or our new question, I think it's maybe one of my favorite ones. Mike and I both looked up the answer and considered it thoroughly. We have complete this Star Wars poem. Now remember, not in chat. Send it to our DMs. Complete this Star Wars poem. Roses are red. Anakin is dumb. On Mustafar, Obi-Wan said... Send that answer into our DMs and you will be entered to be our trivia champion of the month. I'm a bit quiet compared to Mike. Okay, I'll turn myself up a little bit. Is that a little bit better, maybe? Thank you for the feedback. Let me
Good deal.
know if you can hear me all right. I'll turn Mike down too.
Sorry. I get carried away.
You're so loud. Um, so this week we are chatting, like I said, I'm chatting with our amazing store manager. Store manager is such a boring title. Who wants to be called a store manager? Our
Exactly.
warehouse wizard is what I call him, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mike is actually one of the longest standing members of World Builders. He's been around for like 5-6 years now.
Going on.
Yeah.
5 going on 6, I believe.
Which means 5 going on 6 GDGs. Geeks doing good events.
Not since the original, but I've done a few.
Almost since the original, but not quite. So, Mike, from your perspective as our warehouse wizard, what is Geeks doing good? What is the summer event that's coming up?
Geeks doing good. Well, we all know it's a capacity fundraiser. It's our own thing that we do. We use this as a time to develop new products for World Builders Market and to what's the word I want to use? Not broadcast, but to display, to create like a showcase where we can show everybody all at once what we've been spending time working on and developing. And sometimes we sprinkle it out throughout the year, and sometimes we just amass it for this one event. At the same time, we're also reaching out to other content creators and working with them, trying to see if they want us to develop any products for them. They work with our team and kind of create sort of like a sort of events and attention for us. And it turns into this encompassing effort to reach out to people that we normally don't reach out to, and get as many eyes on us as we can, basically.
Shiny
Um,
object, shiny object.
Shining up like, hey, look, the
Look
legendary
at all our
drop.
new products. So yeah, so essentially, I mean, we've talked about it before, but Geeks Doing Good is our capacity fundraiser, which is the short way of saying it's what allows us to keep the lights on, the bills paid, and the warehouse running, and all of, the important things about running a nonprofit that we don't want to focus on all year round. We try to get it out of the way, and then the nice thing about capacity fundraisers is that after we do this fundraiser, when we do a fundraiser for Heifer or for a different organization, we put 100% of those funds straight to that organization. A lot of times when you're donating to a fundraiser like this, they'll have to take some for administrative costs. It's just a different way of doing things, but we chose to have Geeks Doing Good every summer to essentially bolster world builders, to make it possible for us to do the work for the rest of the year around. So it seems very simple, right? It's a capacity fundraiser. But for us, this is like, let's make sure we can keep building a better world every day. It's a very important fundraiser for us. So
sustainability is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And like, while it's great to make one donation to charity, it's even better if we can set it up so it's recurring, and we can do this every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what we do with our Geeks Doing Good as well. And we've got to make sure that we can keep doing it every year.
Yeah, we've got some new initiatives that I will let Gray in the future talk about. But there are some sustainable giving initiatives that we're looking at for world builders to make it a little bit maybe easier, or for different folks to be able to kind of chip in and support so we can keep doing what we do. So question for you, what in the warehouse operates because of the capacity fundraising? What in the warehouse keeps running because we do this?
What keeps running? Well, we do have World Builders Market, and I honestly couldn't even tell you how many products we actually have in World Builders Market, but there's a lot. The capacity fundraiser, the Geeks Doing Good, is going to help us place an order for some of the new products that we've either run out of or run low in stock. When we get more mugs in, like sometimes we'll wait and place an order in bulk so we can get it in cheaper than if we order like a small quantity. We'll get a better deal that way. Some things that I don't really like to talk about too much because it's just boring, but like supplies in general. Our art prints, for example, we have really cool art prints that we have explored and gotten into and begun to offer. I don't know if I can't even tell you the last time I went to Best Buy and bought a little package of ink for my personal computer at home, but I know that they're expensive.
Oh yeah. Color printing is in the world, considering we have all of this technology at our fingertips, printers still feel very old school. They're very inaccessible generally, and especially for something, because digital art is so accessible, I really love that we are, kind of looking to that, being able to create our own quality prints. We have a printer that we use, and then we have, have distributors that we have for our other products and things. I realized that we covered what GDG is for us, but we don't really talk about what GDG looks like from the community's point of view. So if I'm a fan of world builders, I'm a fan of helping communities with sustainable long-term giving, building a better world, and I hear about this event, what can I expect out of it? Am I buying things? Am I donating? Am I watching streams?
The answer to that is all of the above. We get new stuff. We repackage old stuff into new ways. Sometimes we'll reintroduce stuff from the past that we haven't seen in years. We're like, hey, we are bringing this item back. sometimes maybe we'll do like a palette swapped item for a very limited time, or maybe there'll be something new that we come out with where we'll test the waters for it, and if it's good, then we'll put it into the store, and if people like it, or we'll just create something that's very limited in scope, and we're going to say this is your one chance.
Yeah.
After this, it's gone for good.
So it's kind of like both an exclusive club. You get to preview and get all of these like brand new things, you know, see all the cool new stuff, and probably get your hands on some very limited run items as well. Plus, it's also kind of a sale, because usually the cost that we put for GDG is the GDG cost, and so if you buy a mug, say, during GDG, that cost might go up once we put it in the store because of the logistics of the whole store part of it.
Like an introductory kind of sale.
Yeah, it's like you get both an exclusive, first chance at all of these cool new things we've been working on, but also a discount. It's a sale and a fancy showcase, I think was the word you used earlier.
I think, yeah, that's what I said before. In addition to that, though, like, it's not just about products, and it's not just about spending money and getting swag and cool gear, and even donating. Like, the donations, of course, is a part of it, but it also gives us everyone a glimpse of what we're doing, and what other content creators and other authors, artists, other people are doing in the community as well. We'll interview people where it shows us having fun. We'll be playing games on stream. We create this like big epic event, and things go on every single day. It's almost like a World Builders Con kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna. The word that just came to my mind was like a festival.
It is. It's like a festival.
It's very Renaissance fair vibes in my head, where it's like, yeah, you can pick up some Jamdrian something that I love about the way that we do things is you can get kind of the mass produced. We've got like, the printed mugs or a t-shirt or something, but so many of the things that we make, we work with smaller shops to provide that product. I know an example from last year was Fiona's Fineries was a Renaissance fair vendor who, because of COVID, couldn't go anywhere, and so we said, hey, let's partner up. What are some of the other like smaller businesses or craftspeople that we work with?
Well, there's, of course, Badali Jewelry. They're friends of ours. They're out in Layton, Utah, so they're not like next door buddies of ours, but I mean, I chat with them just on the DL, just saying, hey, how's it going, and sending pictures back and forth. And they're great people. Everything that they do is all made by hand. It's just a small group, but they're kind of like us. Just a small group of people who are really into the community and what they do. Even like Sunset Hill Stoneware. I am yet to actually see their facility, but that's just it's a small shop. They're a little pottery company. It takes them a while to get an order out, but like, it's all handmade. It's all made from scratch. They're an hour away from us.
Wow.
Like, but before COVID, we used to just rent a U-Haul and go pick up our order, and they'd be standing at the loading dock waving at us, and we'd sit there and just chat for a little while, and they'd help us load everything up, and then we'd drive back home with the mugs. That's a really good question. What are some of the other like smaller companies? Fiona's?
Yeah, and we've worked with many in the past as well, but it's just one of my favorite things because with the we, like you said, the products are like the geeky swag, but you can get geeky swag anywhere at any time because of the internet, right? And so what we really want to do is make it authentic and from real geeks, made by geeks for geeks, in a way that does, as cliche as it is, that does build a better world, that we're not we're looking to partner with other smaller organizations like us that really care about that individual product and that it's like authentic. My favorite thing about Badali is how much they care about being authentic with their items. It's not, this is a little like one-up mushroom made out of nickel covered in gold paint. Like, it is quality jewelry.
And it's accurate. Like they don't want to just, like, anybody can create a guitar or a lute, but they want it so it looks like what you get if you were at a vendor in Temerant.
Yeah.
They make it very true to their storylines and everything from the actual world that they're creating jewelry from. Another one I just thought of as I was thinking, I was like, oh yeah, Dragon at Heart, a good example. Dragon at Heart, just a small company out of Colorado who hand makes everything by himself, and he's great. Stuff is beautiful. The dice trays are just gorgeous. The other items that we're gonna get,
woodworking.
Yeah, and woodworking.
And then Imbrant Alir in chat actually brought up the Shire Post Mint, another great geeky company that we just, love to work with. And I think that
with humble origins too.
Yeah, it's the humble origins story for many of these teams. But Shire Post Mint is awesome. We've got so many great friends of world builders. We're really, really lucky. And that's kind of part of what the event is about as well, is connecting with our different authors, our different artisans who are making stuff all year round. And Geeks Doing Good is also kind of our way to go, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to bring? What have you been bringing to the table? What have you been working on? And so we have, just like a little side tangent, for some of the events, we have a couple of D&D games planned, which is exciting. I do believe I will be running another one if you have watched one of mine in the past and it wasn't torturously boring or something. We will also have some really great talks with authors about their books. Just, content for geeks by geeks yet again. It is a festival of geekery, a celebration as much as it is a fundraiser for us. So, and that's, kind of World Builders thing, right? Like, we want to be a fundraiser where, we're a 501c3, we've got our paperwork, but also we've got Zay and Garb running around with swords, and we
put the fun in fundraiser. Hey, ladies and gentlemen.
Fundraising. But it's true. We want to build a better world starting at World Builders. So Geeks Doing Good is about us being able to highlight the people we work with and the things that we're doing and celebrate that and make sure that we can keep doing it. So the more that folks can share, or, obviously contributions are like the thing that makes the world go right now is the little paper bits. But what we really love out of GDG is the energy that we get from the community, that we, hear from folks, both
feedback.
Yeah, it's the feedback. It is really connecting with y'all. Yeah, Gray says, there's a list in chat. We have just some really.
Oh, I'm not even looking at the chat right now.
Everybody that's joining us is amazing because they're all working to build a better world. Let's talk about, so it's a little on that topic at least, because we're lucky to work with very big names. I don't know if anyone's heard of Patrick Rothfuss. He's an author who we've worked with some.
Patrick Whatfuss?
Patrick who? But, Brandon Sanderson has some Badali products, has some really cool, rune, I can't even think of what they're called, the rune things.
They're like glyphs.
Yeah, the glyphs. But we've got big names in our store. But we also really focus on helping folks have access to products. Can you talk a little bit about, like, say I'm an author and I'm just all on my own and I've written a book and I've published it and people like it and they go, hey, I want to buy a t-shirt, or, I want to buy a bookmark or something. I don't know how to do that. Enter World Builders.
That is a very good question, because that's almost exactly what we do here. If I was an author and I wanted to come up with some so some sort of merchandise of some sort. I wouldn't know where to go at all, or who to talk to, or where even to begin. Like, do you know where to, like, who to talk to get a shirt printed? Like, I never did. Um, so what we do is we'll sit down, well, not literally sit down, but like we'll have a conversation with an
Zoom.
author or another content creator and say, what would you like to do? Um, rather than doing all the work for themselves, we go back and forth and we say, do you want, I mean, there's stickers, there's um, other sorts of decoration. If you have some sort of art, if you have friends that create art that could do it for your world, we
Mhm.
have the ability to take an idea and make it a reality. um, we can we have other friends, like, apart from the content creators worlds.
Mhm.
We have other friends who work in printing facilities, where, you know, they're interested in sustainable practices and making sure the garments are quality, um, and like the inks aren't, like, we don't use toxic inks and stuff like
Mhm.
that, and also like the stuff's not going to wear off the first time you wash it. um, so like we can sit down with people and say, you know, we can come up with ideas. If you can, you know, give us a direction, maybe give us an idea, and we'll create some stuff. And we never go out and do things on our own. We always make sure we get permissions. We always go back to the original content creators and say, do you like this? This is what we've got, or we have these options. Pick
Respectful
one or pick them all.
licensing is very important to us.
Exactly.
There's a
Um,
lot of shops, and because of the way that laws work and because of the way that creativity works and all of these other things, not hating on other folks, but it is common to kind of like make things for an IP and then get like a cease and desist and then negotiate a licensing agreement from there. We, like
we
you
don't
said,
do
use
that.
the word vision, and I love that word for what World Builders does, because we want to capture the vision of this creator. Like you said, not only authors, there's all, we have board game creators in our shop, we have
Yep.
artists, we have craftspeople of all types. And really it's like, how can we help you and how can you help us help others? It's that networkability of world builders that's really the strength of the organization, because we can't fulfill everything on our own for everybody. We're small as well, but
Exactly.
because we have those resources, because we have experience, we can shortcut through a lot of those things and help creators execute that vision, be able to hold something in their hands that came out of their fantasy world. That's like the dream. How many office jokes does Mike have to field per day?
How many often?
I have never personally done a The Office joke because I don't watch The Office. I actually don't think I've ever heard somebody tease you about your name internally.
This is one of the few times I've been spared of it. Um, it definitely, it happens a lot more when I go out. When I interact with people that I normally don't interact with. When I was at University of Wisconsin, I'd be at doing like a virtual
Scientific.
homework thing, and, you know, my name Michael Scott, and they'd be like, "Oh my God, the greatest boss in the world is at my team," and
That's me.
that's me. Yup. Um, I have a lot of stories about that.
I I just think
And
it's
I've
funny because you
oh, go
if
ahead.
you had a title like that, it would be The Warehouse. Right? Mike doesn't even work in the office. He works in the warehouse.
Exactly. It's even funnier because of that. Um, one story about that though, I could share really quick.
Yeah, let's go for
One time I
stories.
was actually shopping and I found a Dunder Mifflin Paper Company T-shirt on sale. It was a buy one get one, like at 90% off,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought like 4 T-shirts, and like three of, like, was like a Legend of Zelda one, another video game one,
Geek
etc., etc. Maybe
shirts.
a Geek shirts, yeah, maybe a South Park one or something like that, and the rest of them weren't in my size. I'm weird, awkward, gangly kind of shaped, and the only other shirt that fit me really well had this. It was just like a very generic, nice heathered gray, white printed Dunder Mifflin Paper Company, and I was like, well, that's kind of just a cool shirt. I don't
Subtle.
know, maybe I'm supporting some small business. I don't really know that much. I picked it up, and about a week later, someone's like, "I love your shirt, dude," and I was like, and I had some friends comment on it, and they were like, "You got to watch The Office,"
Why
and I
is
was
this
like,
paper company so
"Yeah."
popular?
When the show was on prime time, I was working. It was on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. I was working in restaurants at the time, and I was always at work. For the first like 4 seasons, I saw maybe one episode. So many of the jokes just went right over my head. And now it's on
Especially
Netflix.
working with like working in a restaurant, people are probably just you just smile and nod. Yep, Michael Scott,
Yep.
very funny, best boss. Yep, have a good
Yep.
night. Bye bye.
Oh, exactly. But yeah, so around the office, I'm spared. But outside the office, yeah, it happens a lot.
So answer this to your comfort, but that actually brings up a really interesting thing to me, at least, is that before World Builders, you were not a warehouse wizard, at least not exclusively. That was not. And we mentioned earlier, you've been with us for a while. What's been kind of your evolution at World Builders of your role?
Well, before World Builders, I was a long-term kitchen employee. I started working in restaurants at 13 years old.
Wow.
I was the kid that my sister snuck in the back door and washed dishes for a little bit. And I did that for a really long time. And I periodically took breaks. I worked at the National Park Service. I spent a couple of summers working for Glacier Park. I spent a couple of summers working in another warehouse that makes bicycle racks. And I always ended up going back to the food service industry. At one point, I was like, I'm just not really feeling cooking anymore. I'm not feeling the heat and the stress and the intense environments. I've seen some pretty hardcore kitchens before, and I was like, I'm time to look for something else. And I applied for this part-time shipping clerk position in my hometown of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. And I got hired, and it was World Builders. And I came in, and that was actually I think that was 2016, and it was during GDG actually. I was folding t-shirts. That was one of my first jobs.
Anniversary.
I love how everything comes full circle.
Yeah.
And that was one of my first gigs at World Builders. Was just folding shirts. It was the Ademic shirt at the time.
I love it because everybody who has worked in some merch capacity remembers their first shirt folding marathon. And like, because I remember my first Penny Arcade, like when I went to PAX and it was pre-PAX and I was folding the PAX logo shirt with little plastic. It just ingrains into your head that
you do that 2 million times and you start losing your mind. But no, it was great. And I mean, it wasn't very long before they were like, you seem happy here. And I'm like, I am. This is great. And they were like, cool. Well, we like having you around too. And I was like, that's great. And they offered me a full-time job. And I was like, yes, absolutely. And
that was what, a couple years ago?
This would have been in probably late 2016 when I came on full-time. And eventually I started like just familiarizing myself with everything that was World Builders related. I started with the foreign language edition wall. They were just like, we have all these foreign language edition books. And I was like, tell me more.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I don't think that people know about the foreign language. Let's take a tangent real quick. Tell
FLE wall.
Tell us about what are they, why we have them, who would buy them.
So our authors that we get donation. We ask for donations, and they're like, well, we have these like I have my books, and then I also have like these other foreign language editions of my book as well. And we're like, we'll take them, you know. And so every now and then we'll get like a small package of like, uh,
Beautiful.
for example, Paolo Bashkalupi was one of the more recent ones that we got, and he sent, uh, he has like, I mean, he has like 8 or 9 different titles, but he sent us like the Dutch edition, the French edition, the German edition, the Romanian edition, the Portuguese edition, like 10 different languages of his books. And I took it all down. I like opened up the covers and I figured out exactly I looked the ISBN and I looked them all up and I figured out what language they were, the publisher, where they were originally published, what year, the original titles and everything, and I cataloged it really well. And they were just like, I, I'm a foreign language geek anyway. I love other cultures and other languages. I wish I spoke more, but I love traveling too. But
Oh,
that's kind of the one of
we
the
could
things that
talk for a whole hour about travel.
yeah, I miss traveling so much.
Yeah,
Um,
soon.
but I started with that and just went to the rest of it and just started picking up not picking up the warehouse. It wasn't a mess or anything, but it was just like I started taking it apart and putting it back in order that made sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And like if they just were like, go, keep doing it, this is great. And I was like, what else can I do? And we came up with all these ideas and we redid the whole store. And then I started looking up other ways to storage things. And before I knew it, I was kind of the warehouse coordinator guy. And worked my way up, and then I started helping develop
Here we
new
are.
products. And it's amazing when you like what you're doing and when you're around cool people. The it the I just I don't know, the motivation comes easy for me.
Yeah, it's definitely an environment that just fits, I guess. For I think I was speaking on behalf of many of the world builders, but that just kind of like coming in, having really great people to work with, getting to work on projects that really excite you, is that's kind of what being a world builder is all about, which is really, 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 really awesome.
One of my best friends, to last nail on that a little bit, one of my best friends who also was a lifelong food service employee who's gotten out of it,
Who's
um,
escaped?
is escaped. He has said that like when you are in a good job, but you're around people that you don't want to be around. Forgive my language, but he's like, when you're
Yeah.
around shitty people, he's like, it makes a good job seem less enjoyable, and it makes it so that you don't want to be there. A good crew can make you want to stick through having a horrible job.
Oh yeah.
Like the job can be the worst. But if you've got good people around you and you enjoy the people that you're surrounded with, you won't go anywhere. You'll stick it out. Um, and I'm hesitant to say that World Builders is kind of like the best of both worlds. Like
Yeah.
I get to do stuff that I'm proud of. I'm surrounded by cool geeky swag,
Mm-hmm.
being a nerd myself and a geek myself,
Mm-hmm.
and also the people that I mean within World Builders, we're all awesome people, and outside our periphery too, everybody that we get to work with is also really cool.
Well, we
Our
share.
clientele
Oh,
are all great.
yeah. Well, that's one of our in GDG and Geeks Doing Good. There's going to be two, at least two. I think only two D&D games. And one of them is going to be with some world builders and with Jackie of Heifer International.
Yeah,
And
I'm
like,
looking forward to that one.
as someone who has worked in charity and even geek charity for a long time, roping in, I I call them muggles, non people who are not generally very geeky, but Jackie supports world builders in just like the most incredibly enthusiastic way. She's a friend of world builders. She really is. And that is not default when you're an organization working with other organizations. A lot of times it's just emails, boop boop, we're done, we've done the thing. But like Jackie's gonna roll dice with us, and that's something that I think is really cool about the crew and about the cause is we love working with people. We've got Julia. Julia is so important to world builders. She's such a good friend of world builders and Skyfae. And, you know, we've just got a lot of incredibly talented people in the ranks of supporters that it feels, yeah, like you said, it's kind of like the best of all worlds. It's not super corporate. It's not super big. It's those individualized connections, but having access to bigger resources, which is very, very cool. Oh, I had a question. Hold on. I'll bring it back. Oh, what I was going to say is you're saying you're a bit of an outdoors geek, and that's something that I think is really fun about the World Builders crew as well, is like Mike and I share a passion of video games, and that's probably pretty expected for World Builders, but there are multiple people in World Builders who are very passionate and like educated about the outdoors, have different degrees, and all sorts of just like fascinating thing. Like, we have fascinating humans in and around World Builders with like the coolest hobbies. Beth is just like the buffest.
Yeah.
She's got a dog that's a horse, and she could probably bench press it.
Exactly, yeah. With one arm, just like, no big deal. I'm typing with one hand,
Yeah.
taking photos, and like just getting a workout in.
If you guys don't subscribe to the newsletter, reading Beth's work is just a delight. She's a wonderful writer.
Agreed.
So, but yeah, that's, you know, most times at work it's like, oh, let's deal with the promotional newsletter, and it's with our awesome coworkers. It's just like, let's do this cool thing.
It's really nice. It's a great change of pace from the hearing the ticket printer and and then they just like, oh.
Do you hear the ticket printer in your dreams?
I still dream about kitchen work sometimes,
Yeah.
to be completely honest with you. They're always anxiety ridden and like lots of noise and smoke and hot and sweating and lots of running. And yeah, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
I managed dorms in college, and I still have dreams about being like, oh my gosh, I forgot to like, I don't have the duty phone, and I didn't like give people the keys that they needed. And I wake up and I'm like, it has been a decade. Come on.
I feel like there's got to be something where like there's some sort of forum somewhere where it's just like, just get out the stuff from the past, just slam it out on your keyboard and just let's share stories.
Oh yeah. So slamming it out on the keyboard made me think of, if you are not part of our Discord server, we share all sorts of stories and photos and fun things, previews of the events that we do, awesome things that our charity partners are doing. Discord's a little hub for this little weird lovely community that we have. So if you're a Discord user, join us. I think, haha, the bot told us click the button in chat if you want to join the Discord. Yeah, that just was making me think of, because we get on some pretty strange funny little tangents in the Discord about a variety of topics. And it's a good time. And Brent Alir in chat says, as a geeky weirdo, finding community is difficult, and World Builders is very special. And that's just like a wonderful way to sum it up. Because one of our internal guideposts is World Builders is weird. We do things differently here. And so we're really glad that you guys enjoy that as well.
And it's important to realize that, like, just being a geek, like, you don't have to just be into fantasy and sci-fi, or you don't just have to be into PC gaming or video gaming. Like, you can be a geek about anything. We were talking before about geeking out about the outdoors. Like, I'm outdoorsy. It's part of my upbringing. I go fishing every now and then, even if I don't catch anything. In fact, I usually call it like tanning, because I don't catch anything. I just go and tan with a pole in my hand.
Lake sitting.
Exactly. I just checking out the reeds,
which is a completely valid hobby. Having a stick with a string and looking at the water is totally valid.
Legit, yeah. Like, you know, hey, there's some clouds. Check out
It's
the rod in my hand.
it's about geeking about whatever you want to geek about.
Exactly. If you're into pottery, go
Yeah.
for it. Whatever you're into, like,
Yeah.
it's
I've got
totally cool, and it's all inclusive. Like,
all sorts of weird geeky hobbies.
and yeah, and we love to hear about it all. Like, and the Discord would be a great place to, just throw that in there. Like, so what's that weird one thing that you think that nobody else is into that you collect?
Mm-hmm. Oh
You
man.
know,
Seeing people's collections is one of my favorite things. Hearing people talk about the things that they love and like, whew. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not so much of a minimalist. I like stuff and the stories behind it. And so when people talk about their favorite books, we've got a book channel and stuff like that. I just love to hear that individual story behind the object or the collection or the hobby. I'm trying to think, somebody had a hobby that was just like, that's so cool. I'm trying to think of our incredibly multi-talented staff. Zoe's published a book called
yeah,
Dirty Birds,
yeah, which actually is pretty hilarious.
it's pretty fun. Like, again, geeking, not about geek stuff, but it's real geeky. Yeah. There's somebody's strange hobbies tickling at the back of my mind, and I'll get to it eventually. But
I know, like Zay's armor.
oh yeah,
Isn't that all like handmade? Didn't she
we're
do all that herself?
we are all geeks for Zay in Connor. Like
True.
whenever Zay does something dressed up, we're just like, yes. Zay is our knight in shining armor.
She really is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so glad to have her on my
Literal
side.
shining armor.
Literally wearing armor.
Yep. Yeah. No, we are lucky to have our geek. I don't want to call it Geek Squad because that's what Best Buy did. It's like a geek
Unit.
Knights of the Round Table.
Yeah, and we actually in the basement. I don't think you haven't been into the journal building. You actually have a round table in the basement, where once upon a time we would all congregate for our luncheon extravaganzas.
That brings us a little bit full circle back to I have never. This is my second Geeks Doing Good fundraiser, but I have still not been to the warehouse. Mike and I have never met in person, in the physical realm. When I started last February, we were talking about the conventions we were going to go to, all the in-person events, the, promo videos and stuff that we could shoot when I come to visit. And then COVID hit, and everything has changed. And that's another reason why this team is so amazing and so adaptable, and why I'm so excited for this capacity fundraiser and this, upcoming year, is that we're going to start getting back into those in-person events, getting, traveling more. I'm going to get to go see the warehouse and meet the crew and actually, like, physically interact with my coworkers, which is going to be really awesome. Because there is a vibe, I would say, to the office itself that I have like a little FOMO for. I know that being at the office is really fun. I've never seen any of your legs. It's true. I've never seen any of their legs. And Zay
I've never
walks
shot you with a
around.
Nerf gun either.
The other morning they were filming something, and we started our morning meeting, and I look and I'm like, is Zay okay? Does she have a black eye? What? And then she comes into focus, and she's just in full armor and has like a braid and makeup. And I was like, oh, okay. That is why.
Exactly.
How many jobs would you start up your morning Zoom and there's a Viking in armor that's likely to be like a Star Trek captain?
And it's totally the norm. It's just like, no big deal. It's like, that's just it.
Yeah. Krim says it's been the most surreal minute. Nightly Zay, legs unseen, dirty birds. That's World Builders is weird.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. It's
This is
not just
par
like
for the course for us.
a little catchphrase. We're friggin' weirdos. And because y'all come and hang out, because you guys share the stream and attend the events that we do and buy the cool geeky stuff that we make, we get to do this year round, and the work that we do makes the world a better place. Like,
Come be weirdos with us.
come be weirdos. Come be weirdos. We
Come
will
and be
all be
weirdos.
weird together and make the world a better, weirder place.
And if we all get in on it, then weird becomes a new norm, which is the way to be.
That's what we want. We want to normalize community and normalize helping each other out and giving the little guy a chance and being weird.
Yeah. Normal is just a setting on a washing machine.
It's true. It's true.
Who wants to be that?
And it's funny, as we're talking about this, Twitch chat, we have a very high moderation thing on Twitch chat so we don't get trolls. But Twitch chat didn't permit the word weirdo. So not only are we weirdos, we're rebels.
Oh.
They don't want people to be bullying with the word weirdo, but we don't take that as a bully word. We take it as a compliment. Being weird.
I totally think that's a compliment. Like, yeah.
All right.
Yes, I'm weird. I know I am. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wouldn't have it any other weird. Okay. Anyway, what are you most looking forward to? Next week? Is it really next week?
Ooh. Am I allowed to give out spoilers?
I mean, I think you could drop some hints.
Okay. Well, give me just a second here. What am I really looking forward to? Honestly, I think. Yeah, we haven't talked about that one yet.
Secrets. Teasers.
There is something that I got to personally take part in the development of, and that is has to do with my favorite trading card game.
Ooh.
And that is what I'm most excited about. So
that was like the perfect teaser, Mike. That was so info, but not too much info.
I'm really stoked about it because like it came together, and when it finally did come together, like it started off as one little thing, and I was like, maybe, I don't know. And then it like I found something else, and I was like, maybe, but that would be cool. And then that materialized, and I was like, yes. And then it split into two really cool things, and I was like, hey. And then it just went from there, and it spiraled a little bit more, and I was just like, what? And
it's
like,
so rare for it to go better, like more and more to the exciting realm versus doing less and less of the exciting thing.
Yeah, it's like, why did I like? I wanted these things like 14 years ago at least.
That's
and like
what
there
we
it
do.
is.
We make the products that we want. I will say that I designed a product for Geeks Doing Good this year, and I'm not going to say what it is, but it is also something that I use this type of thing every day, and I love it, and I geek out about it. And then I got to design some for our fundraiser. So yeah, that's the exciting nature of the Geeks Doing Good, is working with like the brands, the IPs that we love, and the the books, the authors that we love, and community geeking out about it.
On that note of that, what you designed, I have my own little version, completely unrelated to World Builders. And again, yes, I use it every single day, and it brings me like just so much joy when I have it, when I interact with it. And that is definitely like another one that like if I could pick like 2 or 3 different things to answer that question with, what you designed also is one of the ones I'm really looking forward to.
Thank you. I hope people like it.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So we're right at the end of our time, and Skyfae just brought up something that I wondered if people would notice, because it's going to be officially announced and launched and real for GDG. Oh, geez. Oh, dog barking. Hold on.
Hey, oh.
The dogs had an announcement as well. Uh, so World Builders is a Twitch affiliate. So we now have subscriptions, gift subscription options, all of that
Right
good
on.
stuff. You can support the channel directly, and it goes to supporting World Builders directly. So if subscribing on Twitch is a thing that you like to do and you want to be part of the early club, that is now an option, which is awesome. And it's something that we're going to be expanding and officially launching for GDG, is that our channel will be a little bit more fun, putting the fun and the functional in fundraising.
Gotta do a little bit of both.
Ba-da-ba.
Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, Jamie. She'll be here all week.
I'll be here all week and next week and the week after. Oh, all right, everybody, can we get a round of applause in chat for Mod Chest Rasman, who is our first cheerer of all time with 500 bits. Holy moly. And our first subscriber of all time, Embrent Alir. Everybody party.
Oh. Woo!
Woo!
I wish I had like noisemakers.
Yeah. We are going to have alerts and all of that good stuff. Like I said, it's going to be officially launched next week. But we are getting all of the pieces in place, so you guys get the little sneak preview of bits and cheers and tears and all the twitchy things. And if you want to support World Builders, but you don't really do a lot of twitching, visit worldbuildersmarket.com, buy something cool for yourself or someone else. Go to worldbuilders.org, make a straight up donation, share us on Twitter. There's so many ways to support, and you guys all know them all because you're wonderful and you're chat and you're great.
Exactly. And again, it always goes towards making the world a better place.
Yep. That's Gray ends all of our morning meetings with "Let's go build a better world," and I think that is one of the most important and indicative things of the work that we do. That just happens every day. That's really what we're working for, is building a better world.
Exactly.
Mike, thank you for geeking out about Geeks doing good with us.
No problem. It's my pleasure. I'm glad to be able to participate, and it's my actual first time on World Builders Weekly. I'm not half as nervous as I expected myself to be, so I'm glad to be here and felt pretty great.
Our chat is really cool, really laid back, and they're used to us. As long as we weren't muted the whole time, right, chat? I wasn't muted the whole time. we did a good job. So
Cool.
will see you all next week for Geeks Doing Good. Is it really next week?
Yeah, it's next week already.
We will
Literally,
see you all
hours away.
Make sure that you are following the Twitch channel, because we are bringing back 11Zs. We are bringing back World Builders After Dark, Cocktail Hour. We've got games. We've got products. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
The most important part of it is you. So we hope you'll come and hang out and have a good time and help us build a better world. And let's see. Let's think of a moose.
Think of a moose? Like Bullwinkle?
I don't know. That was a very fast moose poll, number one. And number two, our sign off is traditionally Viva Moose, which we wait to see in chat to make sure that the delay is caught up. We will do GDG Moose.
GDG Moose?
GDG Moose.
Geeks Doing Moose?
Geeks moosing mooses. See if the chat has caught up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for hanging out, for supporting World Builders. Bullwinkle Moose, GDG Moose, Ember with that first sub. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one.